The Knicks coaching search is insane. The Knicks have already been denied by several teams to interview their head coaches. But because of this, the Knicks are now expanding their search to include new candidates. And one of these new candidates is a very familiar name. We're going to break down all of these latest reports today. But before we get started, about 52% of you watching this video right now are not subscribed to the channel. If you're enjoying the content, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and make sure you have notifications on as well too. If you want to support the channel, the easiest way to do that is to hit that subscribe button. And now, let's get started. The Knicks head coaching search has taken a shocking turn. The Knicks are looking at a number of different head coaches. They have sent out a number of requests to different teams to interview head coaches that are currently under contract. But all of those requests were swiftly denied. Here are the latest updates on the Knicks head coach search. Shout out to Ian Bagley of SNY for giving us this following information here. According to him, it's obvious to say at this point, but the Knicks clearly didn't have a shoo-in replacement in mind when they fired Tom Thibodeau. They've been denied permission by at least 5 teams to speak with their current head coaches. 5 teams they have been denied by already. And those teams are Atlanta, Chicago, Minnesota, Houston, and the Dallas Mavericks. These requests for permission get leaked out because of the formal nature of the process. It gives off the impression that Leon Rose and company are flying blind on this coaching search. But league sources familiar with the Knicks thinking push back against that narrative. When the Knicks request permission to speak with Jason Kidd, Chris Finch, Ime Udoka, and others, they are doing their due diligence, making sure they know exactly who is and isn't available to them. But thankfully, not everyone is on the Knicks coaching list. Shout out to NBA Central and Sam Amick for giving us this following information here. According to them, Doc Rivers is one of the employed head coaches the Knicks didn't request permission to interview. And here's the exact quote. I spent part of Wednesday evening trying to figure out which other current head coaches the Knicks might have attempted to contact. And while there were no new names to reveal, it's worth sharing that league sources say the Knicks did not request permission to speak to this elite coaching crew. The Pacers' Rick Carlisle, the Warriors' Steve Kerr, the Bucks' Doc Rivers, and the Clippers' Ty Lue, as well as the Lakers' J.J. Redick. James L. Edwards of The Athletic also states the following on what the Knicks are doing with their head coach vacancy. According to him, per league sources, the Knicks know they are the only team right now with that head coach vacancy, but they don't feel the need to rush it, and that's why you see them canvassing the league, seeing who is available and who isn't. That might explain the noise the last few days. Bagley continues here by stating, there is no head coach in waiting for New York. So the Knicks need to know as much about the landscape as they continue their search. New York's search will include NBA head coaches who are currently unemployed and current assistant coaches. The Knicks are clearly doing their due diligence to find out who is exactly available for this head coaching position. That's why they're looking at all available candidates and other coaches that are currently under contract. But for the coaches that are not under contract, who are the candidates? Who are the Knicks actually looking at right now? Well, shout out to Ian Bagley and John Macri of Knicks Film School for giving us this following information as well, too, because the Knicks are apparently looking at different new head coaches. Shout out to New York Basketball on the app X for giving us this following information here. According to them, Mike Woodson as Knicks coach again. According to Ian Bagley, when he was on Knicks Film School, he said the following. Very strong relationship with Leon Rose, Worldwide West. I'd be surprised if he didn't at least have a conversation. I think he and James Dolan are on good terms as well, too. Wild card, another one that's at least been on my mind. And James L. Edwards of The Athletic helps to break down some other coaching candidates that the Knicks are looking at. According to him, story soon, but I've gathered Brown and Jenkins are two names to watch. I know Twitter loves a certain assistant head coach, former assistant coach, but I've gotten no indications there that he'll be the next coach. Maybe gets an interview, though. We'll have to wait and see. And shout out to Evan Cedardy, an NBA insider with Forbes, for giving us this following information as well, too. According to him, the Knicks are increasingly focused on Mike Brown and Taylor Jenkins as their top preferred head coach options. New York has continuously been declined interview opportunities with current NBA coaches, and that's why they're looking at Jenkins and at Brown. Mike Woodson and Mike Brown are two great coach candidates and will definitely get interviews for this position, though I don't think that either will end up with the job. And while I'd like to sit here and tell you I know exactly who's going to be the Knicks' next head coach, I really don't have that information. For me, the one person I was thinking about, the one coach I thought had this job locked up, especially if the Knicks were not looking to go after another coach under contract, I thought that person was Johnnie Bryant. Now, listen, I understand, no experience, but a couple of years ago, he was with this Knicks team under Tom Thibodeau being groomed to be the Knicks' next head coach. So clearly, when you see his name out there and available and the Knicks need a new voice in the locker room, you're going to point to Johnnie Bryant as likely the next candidate to be the next head coach of the Knicks. However, according to the latest reports, that doesn't seem to be the case. In fact, Johnnie Bryant is not even at the top of the list for New York right now. Shout out to Ian Bagley of SNY for breaking down this information for us as well, too. According to him, he states, what about Johnny? As noted last week, the timing of Tom Thibodeau's firing was not tied in any way to the Suns' decision on Johnnie Bryant, a former Knicks associate head coach. Bryant was a finalist for the Suns' job, though they ended up hiring former Cleveland assistant Jordan Ott. I don't believe that Bryant, at the moment, is at the top of the Knicks' list of candidates, if such a list exists. This is not a reflection of Bryant, but more so the idea that the Knicks prefer a coach with experience. The Knicks didn't have a plan in place when they fired Tom Thibodeau. I mean, that's very clear. Look at the head coaching search. They are casting a wide net because they do not have any idea who's going to be their next head coach. For me, I would love if Johnnie Bryant was their next head coach, but clearly they don't feel that same way about Bryant, and primarily that's because of his experience level. They want a head coach that has experience in this league, experience winning, experience in the postseason, potentially experience in the NBA Finals. Any wonder why they went after Jason Kidd? It was for a number of reasons, but his experience was probably the number one of them. And they are looking for that experience across all of their head coach candidates, maybe except Johnnie Bryant. But as we just heard, Johnnie Bryant is not even at the top of the list for New York right now in terms of their coaching search. They're looking at a lot of other names. Mike Brown, Mike Woodson, a former Knicks coach. I wouldn't mind any of these names getting interviewed, but honestly, I don't want any of these coaches to be the Knicks' next head coach. For me, it's Johnnie Bryant. If it can't be Johnnie Bryant, I like Eric Spoelstra if the Knicks are able to get him out of Miami. But those are the coaches for me right now. I wouldn't go after any other person at this point in time. Maybe a Jason Kidd, because I understand the connections there, the relationship he has with current Knicks players and the Knicks organization. But Dallas already denied the request. Jason Kidd seems he's locked in and he's going to stay with Dallas moving forward. He clearly wants to ride that Cooper Flag train, and nobody can blame him for that. But now the Knicks need to expand their coaching search and look at different candidates. That means candidates that are not under contract and maybe some other coaches that are under contract but part of different teams. With Leon Rose, he knows he needs to make sure this coaching hire is an absolute home run, a slam dunk. They just fired Tom Thibodeau, who got all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. So clearly, the next head coach who comes into this Knicks team is going to have a lot of pressure on them off the bat. The expectation is they're going to need to win. They're going to need to go to the Eastern Conference Finals, get past that, and go to the NBA Finals. That is a lot of pressure for a new head coach. And given all of that pressure, you can understand why New York wants a coach that has experience, because an experienced head coach is not folding under that pressure. They love that pressure. They'll accept that pressure. And some coaches, they'll thrive in that pressure. And that's why New York will take a very long time here. They're going to take as long as possible to find the next new voice for this team. There is so much pressure riding on this decision, riding on this choice. Even Leon Rose himself will not be protected if he fails here, if he doesn't pick the right head coach. So I know, just like when the Knicks picked Tom Thibodeau, they didn't do that after a week or even after a month. They took a very long time to name the next coach of the Knicks. And this time around, it's going to be the exact same thing. Due diligence is a thing, and the Knicks will continue to do that throughout the next coming days and weeks. And this is exactly how I want the Knicks to respond. Now, I know, obviously, it's easy to be critical of the Knicks. Why did they fire Tom Thibodeau without a backup in mind? And why are they doing this coaching search this way, looking at active coaches under different teams? Why aren't they only looking at coaches that are available and not employed? Clearly, the reason the Knicks are doing all of this is because they're doing their due diligence. As reports have already indicated, the Knicks are casting a wide net over everyone, coaches that are under contract and coaches that are not under contract, because they want to know, among all of those people, if the Knicks coaching job is available and on the line, do they want it? And how badly do they want it? Because once they get that information and they create their list, then they're going to start the formal interview process, trying to find their next head coach. Let me tell you something right now. Maybe you guys thought something differently, but let me clarify everything for you right now. If you thought the Knicks were going to get their next head coach announced by the end of this week or next week, or maybe even the week after that, you're sorely mistaken. You have lost it. That is not going to happen. Not under Leon Rose, not under this Knicks front office. Due diligence, taking their time to come to a decision and making the right decision. They're going to take all the time they need in the world to make this coaching hire. And I want them to do that. You want them to move fast, not look at everything that's happening before they make this decision? Or do you want them to look at all candidates that possibly could be available before they make this next coaching hire? Ask yourself that question, because I think you're going to start to agree with me. It may not be the way that we wanted it to be handled. It may not be the proper process, but the Knicks clearly want to make sure they're exhausting all of their options before they make a decision on their next head coach. And honestly, for me, I wouldn't have it any other way. Do your research, do your due diligence, do everything you possibly can to make sure this next hire is the right hire. But what about you guys? What do you think about the Knicks getting denied from so many different teams to interview their current head coaches? And what about the new names on the coaching block, Mike Woodson and Mike Brown? Do you like those options? Are those some options you would consider for the Knicks' next head coach? Let me know in the comment section below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below. And of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knick fans, take care of yourself, your families, and each other. Peace and love.